reason that the wealthy state of California should be on the verge of bankruptcy. There are solutions. Let's talk about three of them. The State Bank for California, keeping the good parts and fixing the bad parts of Prop 13, and implementing fair taxes for a change so that we can create good jobs. The disparity of wealth has been growing, and middle-class taxes have been subsidizing the mega corporations and billionaires. This has caused a reduction in the revenue for California, and jobs have been slashed. Let's implement fair taxes for a change and keep and create great jobs in the things that we value: education, healthcare, and the environment. We could implement a state bank for California. North Dakota has had one since the farmers got mad at the out-of-state bankers in 1919. And now they're the only state with a budget surplus. The State Bank for California would partner with local banks and credit unions. And we could dramatically decrease our interest payments to the Wall Street banks. Then we could invest our wealth in schools, students, healthcare, businesses, and homes.
You got a $19 billion deficit, and you're going to have to go over each department and start cutting this thing back in the best way you can.
There will be no new taxes unless you, the people, vote for them. We have to downsize state government.
Regulation, in many ways, I think, is strangling businesses more than taxes. I want to put a moratorium on all new regulations. We're going to have to reduce the workforce by about 40,000 people. So 3 years, if we didn't hire another individual, we'd be down by 36,000 workers. Corporations pay among the highest taxes in the country.
How can we improve both our quality of life and the environment? Reduce. That's a word that's not in the vocabulary of the corporate movement that has so much influence over our lives. And the infrastructure needs to be set up in such a way that people can make individual choices that help rather than harm the environment. Let's take mass transit as just one example. We're going in the wrong direction on that. As a result of our policies of reducing taxes on the richest of the rich, individuals and corporations, we end up slashing services like buses. Let's improve mass transit so that people are able to make individual and earth-friendly choices, and so that we can meet the goals of AB 32 and address global warming.
You might know that I am one of the first candidates for governor that called for putting a one-year moratorium on the implementation of AB 32.
Investing in 20,000 megawatts of renewable energy and efficiency retrofits. This is a very powerful proposal.
We have got to build what I call an economic fence. I say no driver's licenses, no sanctuary cities, and absolutely no amnesty.
I do believe in a comprehensive immigration reform, the kind that was being considered a couple years ago by both Republicans and Democrats.
The key thing that's not being said about immigration in this campaign is that immigrants are being used as a scapegoat. We've been seeing the devastating effects of the Wall Street bankers with their casino-style games that they've been playing with our mortgages and then paying themselves big bonuses with our taxpayer dollars. Meanwhile, immigrants are being blamed for a bad economy and for unemployment. Yes, immigration policy can be improved so that immigrants who are here and who are in the process of becoming citizens can complete that process for themselves and their families and to continue to be productive residents of our state. But it's time we stop using immigrants as scapegoats.
Jarvis Organization said I'm the only candidate, Republican or Democrat, who Howard Jarvis himself would trust to protect Prop 13.
When I was governor last time, Proposition 13 came along. Yes, I opposed it, but when it got there, I rolled up my sleeves, and I not only made 13 work, but I bailed out the local governments.
Prop 13 has good parts and bad parts. We can do a better job of keeping people in their homes, which is why California voted for Prop 13 in 1978, and still fix the bad parts. Most of the benefit of flattening the property tax went to corporate and commercial properties, not homeowners. The other part of Prop 13 is that it put in place a requirement that the legislature needs a 2/3 majority to increase taxes. It kept in place a simple majority to lower taxes. In boom years, the legislature was encouraged then to lower taxes, and who benefited? The mega corporations and billionaires. Then in lean years, we can't get it back. What suffers? California's schools, health care, environment, job opportunities, and resources for young people, for seniors, and for the middle class. I've heard Jerry Brown say, I've lived with Prop 13 before, I can live with it again. And my question is, what about the rest of us?
I am not averse to privatizing of prison. I am not for early release of prisoners. On average, it costs about $12,000 per prisoner in California for health care.
It is the best managed hotel system in the world. There is never a vacant bed, or a vacant cell, I should say.
The United States has the highest rate of incarceration in the world. California in recent decades has built dozens of new prisons and only a couple of new universities. California is imprisoning people because of the 3 strikes law, drug offenses, and technical parole violations, causing us to spend billions of dollars on the prison industrial complex, which is a source of sweetheart deals and cheap labor. There are tried and true ways to reduce the human and economic costs of incarceration, education, correctional methods, drug rehabilitation, and prevention. These are ways that are much less expensive, and they'll keep us safer.
Every year we get more marijuana. And every year we find more guys with AK-47s coming out of Mexico, going into the forest out there and growing more and more. And dangerous, losing control.
It's time to get mature about marijuana and hemp. We need to have a marijuana policy that makes sense. Right now, we're using tax dollars to arrest and imprison people on marijuana offenses. For less than the cost of sending a person to prison for a year, we could send a person to college. The Green Party endorses a yes vote on Proposition 19. Let's grow up and let California lead the way.